This is the METS POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the New York Mets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
For the first time since Carlos Mendoza has become the manager of the New York Mets, they lost to the New York Yankees in the first game of the Subway Series tonight, 6-2. Welcome into the Mets Postcast here on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and the Locked On Mets podcast feed. I'm your Postcast host, Chris Schubert, here with you after each and every Mets game throughout the course of the season, and a lot to unpack from the first meeting with the crosstown rival New York Yankees. Aaron Judge's at bats, a topic of conversation. Juan Soto's return to Yankee Stadium for the first time in a Mets uniform, the backdrop for this entire game. But we need to start with what has unfortunately become a theme right now, at least this year, and for a large portion of his career, because it was Tylor Megill on the mound today for the New York Mets, and it went as well as it has been going for him in the month of May.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I'm not sure where to even start with discussing Tylor Megill. I really don't. And it's one of those things where Tylor has worked very, very hard to try and shed this narrative around him that he has these stops and starts to his seasons, that he's great 1 month and looks like everything that we know his potential can be. And that's how he starts his years. That's how March and April normally go from him. Then he hits a wall, and May and June are not very good. I saw a stat on Twitter throughout the course of the game, I think it was from Laura Albanese, that his ERA is sub-3 in March and April, and in May and June, it's over 6. This is just who he is at this point. And Tylor has put in a lot of hard work to try to shed this narrative, and he has tried to force the Mets issue that he is a starting pitcher and he deserves a spot in this rotation. That's what he is trying to overcome. That is what this season is supposed to be about. And let's face it, I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse here, but I'm sure there were some of you out there thinking about it tonight while you were watching Tylor Megill put together another bad May start. The Mets are going to get Sean Manaea back here at some point. The Mets are going to get Frankie Montas back at some point. And Paul Blackburn is right around the corner. The Mets, fortunately, with the way that they've built the depth in their organization, they've got options. And yeah, they'll go to a 6-man rotation to help Kodai Senga out. But when Montas and when Manaea come back, there's going to be somebody who will be the odd man out. And right now, just telling the truth from what I'm watching, Tylor Megill is making it easy on David Stearns and Carlos Mendoza to make this decision. He's not making it difficult at all. You're not taking Kodai Senga out of the rotation right now. You're not taking Clay Holmes out of the rotation right now. You're not taking David Peterson out of the rotation right now. You're not taking Griffin Canning out of the rotation right now. And so it's just, he's making it easy. He's making it simple. I mean, 2 2/3 tonight, 5 walks, 4 runs. But it's not just tonight. It's not just this game in this environment against this rival. It's the entire month of May. I have his game logs here in front of me just to make sure we talk about this accurately. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs in the last time out against the Cubs. 5 innings, 4 runs, 3 walks, and a home run allowed against the Cardinals in a loss. He's just not pitching up to the standard that he needs to pitch to if he wants to make this a no-doubt conversation. If he wants to make it just slam dunk, he is in the rotation when these guys come back, he is not putting together the resume. He is not putting together the month. And I have a very good friend, best friend, in fact, who's a diehard Yankees fan. And we talked earlier today. We were gearing up for the trash talk that was going to go back and forth between us. And we have some fun, but we're very respectful to each other. And he made note of watching the game, and he said, Tylor Megill isn't pitching, he's throwing. He's just trying to get pitches into the strike zone, and it feels like confidence-wise, he lost it tonight. And I don't know what else to say other than it definitely looks like it mentally is getting to him, that his struggles in May and June are just weighing on him. They are a burden that he is carrying that he just hasn't been able to overcome. And, you know, Thomas says in the YouTube chat that he thought this was the year for Megill to pull through. I think we all did, because we see how great the stuff is. And I hate to use that blanket term and not really give it context or meaning, but you see the life his fastball can have. You see the arsenal that he has when it is firing on all cylinders. He can be a dominant starting pitcher. We saw it in the month of April, how great he can be when everything is firing for him. And tonight, and so far in the month of May, it's just not. And I wish I had an answer other than it just feels like it's mental at this point. It doesn't look like there's anything mechanically that he's doing differently. I don't think he's tipping his pitches. It's not like the fastball all of a sudden is losing its life. He's just throwing instead of pitching. Instead of this being an art and a craft and trying to dial up a plan, it just feels like the moment he is backed up against a wall, he just tries to throw things over for strikes and he misses. Or he tries to get things over for strikes, and because he's doing that, he's overthrowing and things aren't even close. Just a bad night for Tylor Megill, and you are not going to be set up well to succeed as an offense, no matter how great your offense is. The Mets certainly did not have a great offense tonight. We'll get to that at some point. But when you hand the New York Yankees, when you hand this offense this many runs early in the game and you walk 5 guys in 2 2/3 innings pitched, what do you expect? How do you expect this night to go? And I know this is new for all of us. Last year, it was Mets wins all over the place. It was Mets wins galore in the Subway Series. So for the first time since Carlos Mendoza has been here, this is a loss for the New York Mets. And listen, the offense was a problem tonight. We'll get into that. But Tylor Megill and his bad month of May continues to be something that just hovers over him and right now hovers over his spot in the rotation. It was Juan Soto's return to Yankee Stadium. And I'll tell you one thing, despite the result tonight and the Mets losing, obviously unideal, especially to this team, especially on the road, especially when you just saw how animated the crowd was. I'll tell you what I did love about this game, though. I loved the atmosphere. I loved that the New York Mets going in there with Juan Soto, with their team that's in first place, with the team that is playing this style of baseball. I loved that it generated that type of response from Yankees fans. I loved the boos that rained in for Juan Soto. And I said in our last postcast at the end when we were previewing the next game, like, embrace this. This is fun. This is what we want to be baseball fans for. And so I love that. I wish it came with the result of a victory. I wish it came with Juan Soto having an awesome day at the plate and hitting a home run to the short porch and quieting those fans down. And you saw he was geared up. He jokingly tipped his cap and had fun with it. I'm sure he would have had something cooked up if he hit a home run. He would have probably showboated just a touch. And I think we would have loved that. And so that we didn't get, but I loved the atmosphere of this game. I loved that it feels like this rivalry is back because this is what makes baseball fun. When you have those rivals that you can't wait to play, you can't wait to beat, and the games in the regular season over the course of 162 feel like a postseason game. So I loved that we had that. I wish the result was different. Hopefully the Mets are able to get back to that over the next 2 days. But I loved the crowd, and I loved the way they reacted to Soto, and I loved just all of it. I loved every single moment of it. We'll talk about the offense. We'll talk about the Mets and their plan, pitching to Aaron Judge, and why tonight is potentially a bad sign for what may happen over the weekend. We will get to that here on the other side. FanDuel and the NBA playoffs, they're in full swing. If you catch me looking this direction, it's because there's a basketball game on that I think we're all paying attention to involving another team in blue and orange, and it's going a lot better for them than it is for the New York Mets tonight. The NBA playoffs are in full swing every night, delivering highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, can't-miss moments, a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals potentially. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there has never been a better time to get in on the action. You've got FanDuel that makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Perhaps you are ready to jump on board the New York Knicks bandwagon. Perhaps you're ready to get in, that they are just a couple of quarters away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Well, you can do so over at FanDuel, and you can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. If you're new to FanDuel, it is the perfect time to sign up. Like I said, head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment matter more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Back here on the Mets Postcast, the Locked On Mets YouTube channel, the Locked On Mets podcast feed. Appreciate you joining us here after each and every Mets game throughout the course of the season. A tough one tonight for the New York Mets. They did not get the pitching, a little sloppy in the field, not a whole lot offensively, despite trying to make some stuff happen there in the ninth inning. But let's talk about Aaron Judge, I should say, and let's talk about the way the Mets chose to pitch him tonight. And I believe when you're facing a team like the New York Yankees and you're facing a player like Aaron Judge, it is extremely critical how you pitch to a player like Aaron Judge and when you face a player like Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is going to beat you at some point in the series. He's going to get one over on you. He's going to have a big RBI hit. He's going to have a big home run. You just need to make sure that you limit the damage in those moments. And I think the worst part out of this loss tonight is you kind of faced Aaron Judge in some low leverage spots and he didn't punish you. And that concerns me for the rest of the weekend. Here are the way the at-bats broke down for Aaron Judge tonight. In the first inning, they faced him with a man on. Megill blew a fastball by him for a strikeout. In the third inning, they faced him with a guy on second base, one out, pitched around him, all breaking balls, and they walked him. He chased one breaking ball outside of the zone. The fourth inning, Crackin faced him with nobody on, one out, went right after him, a single. Okay, you'll take that. A hit doesn't really bother you. In the sixth inning, faced him with nobody on, one out, got him to ground out. In the eighth inning, you faced him with one on, two out, and he had a hard hit single. He did not have a big moment against you in this game tonight. And that just worries me for the rest of the weekend because I don't know if you're going to get those clean types of opportunities where you face him with nobody on and a couple guys out, or you face him in these low leverage spots where the Yankees are already up a bunch of runs. So they were able to mostly limit the damage for Judge tonight, had a couple of hits off them, did not have a big RBI, did not have a big home run, but drew a walk, had a couple of hits, and honestly didn't have that big blow that crushed the Mets. So you got to keep an eye for that. You have to face Aaron Judge. You have to face him with no base traffic, with multiple guys out. You just cannot have opportunities with runners in scoring position. He is going to make you pay. That's just going to happen at some point in this series. You got lucky tonight. Again, you lost the game, and Aaron Judge didn't really do a whole lot of major damage against you. Good to see the Mets put together a rally in the ninth inning and force the Yankees to use Luke Weaver, their closer. We'll take any small victories anywhere we can get them, and so forcing them to use their closer to get one out in the ninth inning tonight with a day game coming up tomorrow, at least is a small win. And the Mets did not use any of their super A high leverage relievers. So if they have a lead late tomorrow, most of their guys should be fresh and ready to go to be able to close down a lead. Again, that's another positive. But this was a rough night offensively for the New York Mets. Lindor, before that hit that he got in the ninth inning, was 0 for 4 in this game. Pete was 0 for 4 in this game. The top part of the lineup, 1, 2, and 3, struggled. And Soto, I think, just took what the Yankees gave him. And this is a credit to Juan Soto. And I see some people in our live YouTube chat saying, Juan Soto making the last out and talking about the offense in general. With Soto, the thing I loved about his approach tonight is he proved, at least to me, he proved that pressure doesn't get to him, that he is not fazed by that moment. He knew what that crowd was going to be like. He knew that they were going to be booing him. What did he say? 50,000 against 1. He was very aware of how he was going to be received by that Yankee Stadium crowd, by those Yankee fans. He knew what this was going to look like, and he didn't get up there and have a whole bunch of extra adrenaline and tried to swing out of his shoes and try to absolutely hit a ball to the moon. He just continued to be Juan Soto and drew a couple of walks tonight. Yeah, you'd like to see him have a big hit. Yeah, you'd like to see him come through with a big home run or a big RBI. Yeah, all of those things are accurate, but I love the composure from Juan Soto tonight. Look, the offense overall has struggled. They just took 2 out of 3 from Pittsburgh, and they didn't have a really good offensive night in any single one of those games, including the 2 games that they won. They're spotty at times. Mark Vientos has been spotty at times. Brandon Nimmo has been spotty at times. Lindor, Soto, Alonso, they've all been spotty throughout the course of the season. And when you only muster up 5 hits and the top 1, 2, 3 of your lineup combined for only 1 hit, you're not going to win many baseball games when that is the way your offense goes. 1 hit from your 1, 2, and 3 hitters. You're not going to score a lot of runs. You're not going to win. So they need to get better pitching. Tylor Megill did not have it tonight. 2 2/3. I mean, you need more. You need to get more than that. But also, you have an offense that right now that isn't hitting. And I see Michael in the chat saying offense has been weak for a while now, especially with runners in scoring position. I'm going to make sure we get the accurate numbers here. But 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position tonight. 9 men left on base. I mean, this is different than the Pirate series. The Pirate series was just a lack of those run scoring opportunities. I mean, I'd have to run and do the math real quick, but I think if we added up the at-bats that they had in the Pirate series with runners in scoring position, it may not get to 11. If it does, it's a little bit past 11. So they had more opportunities with runners in scoring position tonight than they did at all in that Pittsburgh series. I mean, they did not have a lot to write home about with big opportunities and big chances in that Pittsburgh series. Tonight, left 9 guys on base, 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They had chances with the bases loaded to try to respond after the Yankees put up that 4 spot in the third. They were only able to scratch 1 run across, and that was really it for this offense. They did not have a whole lot. They continue to not have a whole lot, and so we need to see this offense turn a corner and get back to hitting the way we know how to hit. And Hayden, I don't know if you're kidding, but you are saying something that is accurate for the year 2025. Our ace, Griffin Canning, will save us tomorrow. I mean, Griffin Canning's been great all season. He's next up for the New York Mets, and he's been good to the point where you kind of have some faith in him to go out there tomorrow. I mean, I won't lie. I am a little nervous for that first at bat against Aaron Judge. I won't lie. I may be watching that one, ducking below the monitor just to make sure, but might be a little scared. But Griffin Canning's been great. He's been just reliable. He's been consistent, and he's the guy that the Mets will turn to tomorrow to try to get them back on track. Look, the one thing the Mets have not done so far yet this season is lose 3 games in a row. If they win tomorrow, they will avoid that. If they lose tomorrow, it will happen for the first time. So they have been in this situation before, and they have responded in kind every single time up to this point. So until they prove us otherwise, got to believe them that they will be able to turn this around, and we will get a better performance from them tomorrow. We will be back after that game to break it all down. Hopefully a Mets victory. Hopefully the Mets getting back on track. Hopefully a better day for this offense across the board. And hopefully Juan Soto can have a big, huge Mets moment in Yankee Stadium. I think that would be a great way to maybe kickstart a huge run for him in a Mets uniform. But that is going to do it for us here on this edition of the Mets Postcast. Appreciate all of you being here. If you're watching us on YouTube for the first time, do me a favor, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You then get notified when we go live. You can join us after each and every game throughout the course of the season. It is one of the prideful moments for me is I try to hit that go live button. I try to be ready, prepared to sit here and talk about this team literally the moment the last out is made. The moment that Gary says the game is over, I want to push that button to be here with you guys, to react to it, to get your thoughts, share my thoughts, and have that conversation. So it's one of the things we pride ourselves about here on the Mets Postcast. So if you hit that notification bell, you will be notified the moment we go live, but it is instantaneously after these games are over. We got a basketball team to go root on here to finish things off against Boston to make their trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'll let you all get back to that. We will be back here tomorrow to break down the New York Mets in their second game of the Subway Series against the New York Yankees. Have a good one, everybody.